Any day shooting is a good day, but today we're going to revisit the Desert Tech MDR. We'll try it in a few different configurations as well as with an assortment of suppressors, brought to you by your favorite illegitimate gun enthusiast. With all these great accessories to try, I wanted to start out first unsuppressed. But before we get to that, we've got to address one quick thing. As you can see, the charging handles didn't seem to lock all the time for me. There didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. I will get to the bottom of it, and I'll get back to you with what I find. For all the close work, I used a Trigicon MRO. Time to cue up my favorite shooting music. Here you can see the charging handles flopping around a little bit. Like I said, I couldn't figure out why they did it sometimes and other times they didn't. Shooting the MDR in this configuration is incredibly fun. I was using a cone-like muzzle device, but it was now time to switch the gun over to its suppressed configuration, removing the handguard to expose the gas valve underneath. I quickly turned it from normal to the suppressed setting and reinstalled the handguard. As with most NFA survivors, I'm cautious when I install a suppressor on a new host. So I started out by just shooting a few rounds through each suppressor and then trying a few rapid fire. Check to make everything's okay. This is the first time these suppressors had ever been fired on this rifle, so I was a little bit cautious, but these are the very first shots you're seeing here. For this shooting session, I was using the Nikon Black 1:4 optic. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite little scopes for this rifle. I moved cautiously, going from one suppressor to the next, pausing to breathe for a while in between. It was no surprise to me to get more gas in the face than I am accustomed to, though various suppressors gave more gas than others. But it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be to determine which one was worse than any other. So here's the fired brass from suppressed. You can see there's a little bit of dings and dents, a little bit dirty. Dirty brass in gas-operated semi-autos is not a new thing, of course. The unsuppressed brass, as you can see here, had a little bit of scratches and dings from the ejection system, but otherwise in pretty good shape. One thing I learned for sure through this process was that I would definitely like a lighter gas setting for suppressed with this rifle. T-back. I believe with a lower gas setting, or less gas, that the rifle would run a lot cleaner as well as cause less damage to the brass. Up next was my Silencerco hybrid. I've used this suppressor extensively with several MDRs, so I was quite confident on how it would work. I believe part of the reason that the hybrid is so successful on these rifles is because I happen to have a 45 end cap in it, so I believe it reduces the back pressure that is pushed back into the rifle. I even tried a few subsonic shots through the rifle. While fun and entertaining, they lack the power to operate the rifle, causing a classic MDR short stroke jam. Easily cleared, I was back in business. Using the Nikon scope, engaging MOA-sized targets inside 400 yards was easy. As far as these suppressors are concerned, I didn't have a malfunction with any one of them. Provided you had a lower gas setting, I think any one of them would suit the MDR perfectly. So I think I'll stick with my hybrid. After messing around a little bit at medium range, I decided to mount up my Gen 2 PST and try some stuff that's a little further out. At first we shot 625 and then stretched out to 780. Using a nice scope like this and stealing the dope card from my 16-inch SRS covert took the challenge out of making these hits. That said, I think a 5 to 25 is maybe a little much scope for this gun. But it sure is nice to have when you need it. For me, I think a smaller variable power optic would be perfect, like this little Nikon here, but perhaps a 1 to 6 or a 1 to 8. The MDR continues to grow on me. I even took it deer hunting with me a few weeks ago. Had it not been for the 1,200 yards between us, I might have harvested a real nice buck. Well, if you can count on one thing, it'll be that I will be back with more illegitimate conjecture. Thanks for watching.